Hello viewers, welcome to Ekam Academy. In this video, we are going to quickly revise most important international events that happened in across the world as part of your international relations syllabus in UPSC prelims. Okay, without any further delay, let's start. You can see first we are going to discuss about AUKUS. Okay, what is this AUKUS? It is a trilateral initiative. Trilateral means Australia, UK, US. So with respect to what? With respect to defense. Okay, so they are going to share some collaboration between these three countries. So for what this is aimed at? Because increasing Chinese influence in the Pacific Ocean, Indo-Pacific Ocean. So to curtail this initiative was launched by Australia, UK and US. So each country, okay, they are sharing their defense related technology to enhance more security in the Indo-Pacific Ocean. This is what the main initiative aimed at. So why it is in news? Recently US, UK, Australia and Britain have unveiled the details of nuclear powered attack submarines to be deployed by early 2030s to counter Chinese ambitions in the Indo-Pacific. Okay, so this is part of 2021 AUKUS. So this initiative was launched as part of 2021 dialogue between these three countries, and you know this is a collaboration between these three countries, very important. Then it is a trilateral defense deal for the Indo-Pacific. Mainly they wanted to initially start with nuclear powered submarine for Australia. Okay, they wanted to help Australia in getting this submarine, and you have to remember Australia is a signatory to NPT, non-proliferation treaty. What is this non-proliferation treaty? It wants to curtail the spread of nuclear weapons. You know, only P5 states are authorized to have nuclear weapons. Okay, other than P5, no country is authorized to be recognized as nuclear state. That is why, because of this discriminatory clause only, India did not sign NPT even today. Okay, this is what you have to remember. Then we are next going to discuss about CPTPP. Okay, so what is this agreement? CPTPP is nothing but it is a free trade agreement for Pacific Ocean countries. So if you have remembered previously, there is another partnership agreement or free trade agreement, that is Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement. But after US withdrawal, okay, US under Donald Trump has withdrawn from this particular free trade agreement. After this, it was renamed as CPTPP. Now why it is in news? Because UK, United Kingdom, became the first European country to join this initiative. Because if you see, this is mainly aimed at Pacific countries only, but UK is not having any border with Pacific, right? So but still it has joined this initiative recently. That is why it is in news. So here you can see what are all countries part of CPTPP. We'll see here also, you can see UK has formally agreed to become first European country to join comprehensive and progressive agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership. Okay, so this is a free trade agreement, you know, between 11 nations. Previously it is a partnership among 12 nations, but US has withdrawn from this. Now it became 11 nation grouping. So which are all countries? Australia, Brunei, Canada, Chile, Japan, Malaysia, Mexico, New Zealand, Peru, Singapore and Vietnam. So if you have remembered, Brunei, Malaysia, Singapore and Vietnam, these are also part of ASEAN. Okay, so do remember these things. It was signed in 2018. Then it is succeeding Trans-Pacific Partnership after US has withdrawn from TPP in 2017. All the 11 countries are part of APEC. Okay, this is very important. APEC means Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation Agreement. So this is a grouping of 21 Asia Pacific countries, both countries in Asia and Pacific economies. So this is also a free trade agreement mainly to promote economic cooperation. It is headquartered in Singapore. If you have remembered, UPSC have asked a statement saying that India is member of APEC or not. So such questions are very important for prelims. So do concentrate on areas where, or in groupings where India is a member, and in groupings which India is not having membership. That is very important. So which are all countries part of APEC is these countries. If you see, India is not a member of APEC. Okay, and we are also not a member of ASEAN. These things you have to remember. We are not a member of CPTPP also, and India did not sign RCEP also. These two are counteractive. Okay, so because this is mainly aimed at Chinese, and you know RCEP is the main free trade agreement launched by China only, but India initially showed its interest in joining, but due to some domestic pressure like from dairy farmers and all, we did not sign this RCEP. Okay, these are the two free trade agreements in the global arena we have in the recent times, and APEC decisions are reached by consensus and it is made on voluntary basis. These are the things you have to keep in mind. Then we have another organization that is in news is NATO. Okay, you know, NATO means North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So why this is in news? Because recently, you know, Russia-Ukraine war happened, right? Okay, it is happening still. If you have remembered these, okay, Russia and Ukraine, okay, Ukraine is here, so these countries are forming part of NATO. All these countries means Western European countries, okay, Western European countries, they are in support of USA, they have formed NATO, and East European countries led by Russia, they have signed Warsaw Pact. Okay, if you have remembered. So as part of this Russia-Ukraine war, because as Russia is increasing its aggression, some countries want to join this NATO, because some countries like Finland and Sweden, they also had boundary with Russia, but they are not part of NATO. So if they have membership in NATO, what is the advantage they get? Collective defense means if there is attack on one country of or one member of NATO, all other countries will think that is attack on them and they will show collective defense system. That is what the main objective behind NATO. So that is why recent times Sweden and Finland have shown interest to join NATO, and Finland has become 31st member also. That is why it is in news. So previously 30 members are part of NATO and Finland become 31st member. If you have remembered, for membership of Sweden and Finland in NATO, Turkey has shown some resistance, okay, because of its in relations between Sweden and in Finland. So if you have remembered, NATO was formed in 1949 after World War II with signing of Washington Treaty or Washington Consensus also you can call. It is a security alliance of 30 countries of North Atlantic and European region, North American European region. Recently Finland joined as the 31st member. Then what is the fundamental goal? Is safeguard the allies against the political and military actions and all. It is a collective defense system, mutual defense system you can say. Article 5 of Washington Treaty says any attack against one ally is considered as an attack against all. So this forms part of alliance, a promise of collective defense. It is headquartered at Brussels, Belgium. This is very important for prelims. Then this is a location of Norway and Sweden. It is very important because these areas are so much in use. Okay, you can see here Gulf of Bothnia. Finland, okay, here you can see Baltic Sea. They can ask you what are Baltic Sea countries. If you remember, these are Baltic Sea countries, Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania. These are the countries, and they can ask you Nordic countries. What are Nordic countries, and then what are Scandinavian countries. For you, I have given the information here itself. It is northern part of Europe and it is bounded by Sweden on the west, Norway on the north and Russia to the east. So Finland is also having boundary with Estonia and Gulf of Finland. So here you can see these are Scandinavian countries, Norway, Sweden and Denmark. If you have seen in most of the indices, these countries will be at the top, okay. And Nordic countries are those Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Norway and Sweden, okay. So all Scandinavian countries, and also if you include Iceland and Finland, they become Nordic countries, okay. They also include Faroe Islands and also a land of an autonomous region, okay. Then Baltic countries are 3 countries, Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania. All 3 are members of NATO. These are very much in news and you have to concentrate on this. Then next topic we have to focus is India and Global South, okay. So if you have seen, as India has assumed presidency of G20 in 2023, our Prime Minister said India is reflecting the voice of Global South. So what is Global South and Global North? Global North means those countries like US, Europe, Russia, Australia and New Zealand, which are somewhat developed. Global South means those countries in Asia, Africa and South America which are in the process of developing. So these countries, okay, their classification is more in terms of wealth, education and healthcare. Because of development we are differentiating these. So India and China are also part of Global South and they are advancing economically in the recent times only. That is why this in India has raised the voice that India is going to reflect the voice of Global South. And then As part of prelims, if you have remembered, some questions are asked like which are the crops of new world and old world and all. So such type of questions can be asked. So first world, second world and third world, what does these mean? Means first world, second world and third worlds are the countries when Cold War era alliances of US, USSR and non-aligned countries are respected. First world countries means Cold War countries, okay. Second world countries means those which are related to USSR after USSR got disintegrated and all. Third world countries means non-aligned countries, okay. Non-aligned means India, you know, Indonesia, Egypt, Yugoslavia, Ghana, all these countries which supported non-aligned movement and now which are all part of those countries like Maldives, all these are also part of this. And Western and Eastern countries, if you have seen, Western countries signify greater levels of economic development. Eastern countries are in the process of transition. Asian countries, South Asian countries are part of this. Then this is very important for us to know because previously, if you have remembered, UPSC has asked a member which of the countries are forming part of G20. These questions are asked, and as India has assumed the presidency of G20 in 2023, it is so much in news. Okay, now you know G7 countries are these: Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK, USA. So if these countries together with Russia will make G8, but G8 was G8 became G7 after Russia have annexed Crimea in 2014. They have expelled this Russia from the grouping. Now it became G7 only. G20 means all G7 countries plus these countries, means India is also member of G20. It is not part of G7. Do remember this. Then why G7 is in news? Because recently in 48th summit, okay, of G7 which happened in 2022, Germany, it happened in Germany. So at that time, although India was not part of G7, India was invited by German president, okay, to attend this particular meet. Then what is this G7? It is an intergovernmental organization that was formed in 1975 for global economic governance and internal security. Okay, mainly with respect to economic and security purposes, this G7 was formed, which are all members: UK, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan and US. So these are all countries. All G7 countries and India are part of G20. It doesn't have any formal secretariat type of thing. Then we have to discuss about now Global Biofuel Alliance. If you have remembered, as part of G20 summit in India, okay, India has given a call for Global Biofuel Alliance. Okay, previously, if you have remembered, in COP21, as part of Paris Agreement, India has launched along with France International Solar Alliance. This is one of the international organizations sponsored or initiated by India. Apart from this, CDRI also, Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. This is also one of the international organization initiated by India. On the similar lines, Global Biofuel Alliance is also the initiative called by India as part of G20 summit in India. Okay, so what is biofuel? Biofuel means a fuel made from living things like food and all. Okay, so most of the things, if you have remembered, there are different generations in biofuel, but traditionally biofuel is made from sugarcane mollusk. Okay, so whenever this sugarcane is made, okay, fermented and it is made into the process, then we used to get the waste. From the waste you used to generate biofuel that can be used to power this vehicles. Then we have to discuss about national biofuel policy also in 2018. So here, you know, even in petrol and diesel also we are blending the biofuels. Okay, we have achieved the target of 10% blending, and now we have kept a target to blend 20% of biofuel with petrol by 2025. Initially we kept a target of 2030, but we have advanced this to 2025 itself. Okay, and if you have seen, there is a repository also for collecting the biomass, and we are giving some viability gap funding also, and we have different categorization of biofuels, mollusk and all. There is a National Biofuel Coordination Committee headed by Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. Most of the people will get confused with Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. And there is a trust on research and development on biofuels. This is very important for prelims. First generation biofuels are made from edible sources, food purposes, and second generation biofuels are made from non-edible sources like broken rice, spoiled cut rice husk, or these things. Okay, then third generation is made from algae, okay, carbon neutral, it doesn't emit whatever the emitted carbon dioxide is there, that can be sequestered. And fourth generation is made from genetically modified crops, okay, these are carbon negative, okay, so that means they don't emit much carbon dioxide because of their production. So in this way we have discussed about biofuels. What is this biofuel alliance, global biofuel alliance called by India? Means at the 14th Clean Energy Ministerial and 8th Mission Innovation that took place in Goa from July 19, 2023. In this we have launched this Global Biofuel Alliance, okay. This was launched under the G20 presidency by India, and who are all coming together as the biofuel producers is US, Brazil and India. If you have remembered, Brazil is the largest producer of sugarcane also. And then which are all part of this alliance? 19 countries and 12 international organizations are part of this Global Biofuel Alliance. So what is the main aim? To develop biofuel trade globally and have a sustainable future. What is the significance? It will help us to transfer technology in developing this biofuels, and also it will help in mobilizing better climate fund. And E20 target means, you know, we have achieved ethanol blending 10% target, and we wanted to achieve 20% ethanol blending target by 2025. We have advanced it to 25 from 2030. Then another treaty that is in news is New START Treaty, okay. New START Treaty is nothing but with respect to US and Russia, Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, okay. So this treaty was signed, and in the recent times, if you have seen, there is a call given by Russia that we wanted to suspend this New START Treaty, because this Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty was launched in 1990s, okay, between US and USSR, because they wanted to minimize, okay, arms use and all. So if you have seen what is applied here, intercontinental ballistic missiles, means even if you know Agni 5 in India is an intercontinental ballistic missile which can cover over 5,000 kilometers area. So similarly here, intercontinental ballistic missiles exceeding 5,500 kilometers that belong to Russia and USSR, okay, and other cruise missiles, warships and all these things are limited under this program, okay, they cannot use. So this is the last remaining arms control treaty between US and Russia. Because of Russia-Ukraine war, this was more coming and the distance between Russia and US has increased. This was signed by Barack Obama in 2010 and extended by Joe Biden. So it took into effect in 2011 only. It came into force, it is in force till 2026, but Russia said it want to suspend this treaty. Then, so if you have seen, this is Paris Club. What is Paris Club about? So Paris Club means Sri Lanka has reached an agreement with principle with India under Paris Club of Creditors. Means, you know, Sri Lanka has been subject to bailout, okay. So there is worst economic crisis that happened in Sri Lanka in the recent times. To come out of economic crisis, to take the help, okay, from India, it has agreed in principle to take money from Paris Club group of creditors. What is this means? It is a debt treatment plan, mainly to bring this island nation out of debt trap, okay, and it is also helping IMF $3 billion recovery package. It is an informal group of creditor countries, and it was established in 1956. It will help the countries facing financial difficulties to pay off their debts, okay. This is why. So such questions, what type of questions can be asked from these topics is Paris Clubs recently seen in news is related to, okay. So they can ask you with respect to financial difficulties or Sri Lankan economic crisis. These type of questions can be asked. So headquarters is located in Paris itself, okay, in France, and it helps in financial difficulties. And you have these mainly supporting the creditor countries. They will be mediating, okay. Here India is the creditor country and Sri Lanka is the debtor country. So Paris Club will be mediating between these two and in helping them recover from the economic problems. Then these countries are mainly from the Western countries, which are all part of Paris Club, means OECD countries. Total 22 countries are part of this. You can see here all the other countries, or these are the part of Paris Club, okay, OECD countries, and India is not a member of OECD. Next topic we are going to discuss is Windsor Framework. What is this Windsor Framework? Windsor Framework means this is a agreement between UK as part of Brexit, okay, because you know UK has exited from the Britain or European Union, and we call that as Brexit, okay. So as part of Brexit, because it has lost connection with Northern Ireland, which is also part of United Kingdom, now and it wants to keep this, because here what happens as part of this agreement is it is keeping this Northern Ireland as part of EU's single market for goods. So what is the main issue is open border. Previously they used to have open border, but now as part of Brexit deal, this Irish land border will be kept open, but products have to arrive from these things are subjected to checks and controls. This is part of thing, because they wanted to transit in a smoother way. Okay, and this is an agreement between Great Britain and Northern Ireland to keep checks and balances in the goods that are entering without any trouble, then not to disturb the trade. Then the last topic we are going to discuss is Nord Stream pipelines. So if you have remembered, Nord Stream pipeline 1 and 2, these are so much in news because of Russia-Ukraine war, and you know almost all of the European countries that are dependent on Russia for oil and gas. Okay, so after Russia-Ukraine war, so many countries started cutting down the ties with respect to Russia, like by stopping import of oil and gas from Russia. So then what happened? This Nord Stream pipeline 1 and 2 came into picture. So if you have seen this Nord Stream 1 and 2, you can see these are the two pipelines. One, you can see green line, purple line is Nord Stream 2. So this is connecting Russia with Germany. Okay, this is a Greifswald in Germany. So these two places are connected, and they wanted to supply oil and gas through these pipelines. So recent claims made by investigative journalists regarding this Nord Stream pipeline have ignited intense discussions and controversy. This is a natural gas pipeline that runs through Baltic Sea. This is very important. They can ask this in prelims. Okay, it runs through Baltic Sea, and Baltic countries are important. I just told you, Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania. So these countries which are connecting Russia and Germany. This pipeline was built with the aim of transporting natural gas from Russia to Europe, bypassing traditional countries like Ukraine. Okay, so then in the first line, if you see, that was completed in 2011, second completed in 2012. Since then it is supplying the natural gas for Europe. So this is a 224 kilometer gas pipeline running from a place in Russia to Germany, northeastern Germany. Nord Stream 2 is having capacity to handle 55 billion cubic meters of gas per year once if it becomes fully operational. It is not completely operational. So these are the main issues we have discussed as part of international relations in 2023. Now see the practice question for prelims. India is a member of which of the following? APEC, ASEAN and East Asia Summit. Answer in the comment section which of the groupings have India as a member. Okay, so this is all what we have discussed. So in this we have discussed important international events that happened in 2023, keeping upcoming prelims in mind. Thank you.